The motorized theme of Thomas and Friends, released in 1992 by Tommy and carried along all the way up to this date by various companies. And today, we're going to dive into it deeper and deeper. Hello everyone, my name is Western Engine 11, and today we are going to review the trackmaster iceberg we made with my friend Sir Granpuff the Grace.
That's right, my fella. This video will contain serious mysteries which are floating in the motorized community, so let's jump right in. (2010) splatter. When Trackmaster was purchased by Mattel in 2009, they redesigned and reintroduced a lot of engines, except for some forgettable ones. They also made Dodge twice, however they never made a splatter. We assumed that they were planning to release him in 2014 if they wouldn't have redesigned the range, since they did the same to Donald and Douglas. Donald was released in 2013 and Douglas was in 2012.
Cancelled flip-face engines. In 2007 there were gonna be 3 flip-face engines, Gordon, Percy, and Toby. Percy was planned to be released with a set called Percy and the Ice Cream Factory. However, there's a chance that it was released but recalled due to the lead paint crisis. However, there's no confirmation on this one. Also interesting that they used this Percy's prototype image for the Fisher-Price Percy in the Percy's Day at the Farm set's instructions. Toby, on the other hand, this prototype mostly resembles his regular release, but the one which was released is slightly different with better proportions and taller cow catchers and side plates. Gordon doesn't have any information aside that he was shown on the back of some set's boxes.
Thumper. There was a Tommy set called Thumper and Boulder Scenery Set, which had a little Playrail Thumper in it, which is a quite unpopular and pricey release nowadays.
The SSS series. Around 2011, Mattel released a Toys R Us exclusive series called the Solar Snowstorm series. This series included every pack member released by Mattel, except for Jack and Monty. Monty wasn't in this because he was exclusive to Europe. However, it's unknown why Jack was never released in this series.
Talkin' Action Diesel 10. Much like Thumper, this Tommy release is also quite pricey and unpopular, but the fact that it's so special is because it has the most accurate functioning pinchy out of all Thomas merch lines. It can move in every way, and the claw opens and closes too.
2 Directions Thomas. In 2012, Playrail released a set called the Search and Rescue set, and it contained a Thomas which could go backwards and forwards, and it had a front coupling. Though this set was released for Misty Island Rescue, but 2 years after the movie's debut. Maybe it was delayed for some reason.
Donald and Douglas Snowplow Set. Well, here is another unpopular release, the Donald and Douglas Snowplow Set. It came with a Tommy, Donald, and Douglas, but with detachable snowplows. There is also a works unit coach in this set, but with 2 front couplings. Like the rest, this is also a rare and pricey piece nowadays.
Gold Thomas. In 1997, Tommy released a Gold Thomas which is also extremely rare. Only a few people own it from YouTube, and it's also very pricey.
The Sodor Search and Rescue Center series. The Sodor Search and Rescue Center series was a very short sub-theme by Mattel in 2010. But the interesting thing about this is that on the official Mattel website, they misspelled the release dates and said it was released in 2011 and discontinued in 2010.
Chocolate Percy. In 2008, Hit Toy Company released a chocolate-covered Percy, but sometime later, they released a variant which had a different face and chocolate detailing. One came with the ordinary Percy rolling stock and the other came with a chocolate syrup tanker. the Playrail version was also based off the second release.
The third-party engines. After the Fisher-Price Trackmaster got a redesign in 2014, a different company decided to continue the old-style format and started producing bootleg engines in a fairly similar box. There are really good ones like Airy and Bert, but there are also some bad ones like Dennis and Steven. Where is Poor Guy's Tender?
Daisy. Not much is known about the Trackmaster Daisy model, but interestingly, there is this edited picture on the internet which shows how it would have looked like. Likely they planned to release one with a milk tanker, but the idea was dropped.
Hector with coach. The Trackmaster Hector's pack first came with a coach. It's unknown why, but it was later changed to a flat card which is more accurate. The coach ones new in box are rare and expensive nowadays.
Hit Toys RC Hero. Hero was one of the last characters released by Hit Toy Company before the Mattel transition. He got a lost and found flip face variation, however, a regular RC version likely exists as well. It is not confirmed, but in this one video that UC Weapon made, channel and video link in the description, he said that it's a Hit Toys one. There's a Mattel version of it which sure exists.
The Hit Toys Charlie. By 2010, there was a Hit Toys Charlie planned for release, but it was also cancelled because of the Mattel transition. Interesting that the prototype shows him with windows, purple wheels, and a sad face.
2012 Playrail discontinuation. By 2012, Tomy discontinued a lot of Playrail engines. The reasons are unknown. This involved characters such as Duck, Oliver, Arthur, Murdoch, Molly, Neville, etc. Maybe this was because these characters were no longer in the series.
The prototype Steven and Buster. When Steven and Buster were released, their prototypes were produced as well. The Steven is owned by UC Weapon, but the Buster was only seen on an eBay listing with a bunch of other take-along items in it a few years ago. It's unknown where is the Buster now. We forgot to write it down, but UC Weapon owns a prototype Hank as well.
Thomas Set Sail Pack. In the spin-off fix Thomas's instructions, there was a boat on a flatbed picture. It's likely intended to be a part of a pack from this episode, Thomas Set Sail. This was also cancelled because of the Mattel transition.
The Boulder Mountain set. The James at Boulder Mountain was originally released with a flip-face James. However, sometime later there was one variant which was released with a generic Thomas and a flatbed, and the set was renamed Thomas at Boulder Mountain set.
Thomas Ultimate Set. Much like the previous, this Tomy set has a variant as well. The first was released with Thomas and Percy. But in the second one, Percy was replaced by Mighty Mac. Also in the later version, Annie and Crabber were not included, and the red bridge was replaced with the solar suspension bridge. And a lot of other characters, rolling stock, and some destinations were changed.
Marion's truck. When the Playrail Marion was released in 2015 with Gator, her truck was blue, but when she was released with Beresford, they changed it to green.
Rocky variations. There were 3 variants of Rocky, one in each line. The Hit Toys was motorized, the Playrail was not. And the regular Tomy one was also motorized, and it had the front car in the back. It's a bit weird how they change it every time. The Fisher-Price one doesn't count since that was a redesign.
2 Jacks. Not many people know, but there were 2 Jack models. One motorized by Hit Toys and one unmotorized with better proportions and a weird face by Mattel. Here is a comparison of them.
Sodor Mountain Mine advert. The Sodor Mountain Mine advert depicts the set of a normal hopper truck. But in the actual pack there was a special troublesome truck included called the Naughty Truck.
The Busy Day on Sodor truck. On the Busy Day on Sodor set's box, there was a dumper troublesome truck on it, which is accurate since that was included in the set too. But there was a second version which had a blue generic dumper truck on the box, which is not accurate since still the dumper troublesome truck was included.
Sir Handle variations. Sir Handle had 3 variants. The original Tommy and the Hit Toys version has incorrect white wheels, such as the Sir Handle in Charge special version. The Player one depicts him with grey wheels. There were also some Tommy ones with grey wheels, and the Fisher-Price version has the correct black wheels. Also interesting that in every free pack of him, he was always included with standard gauge branch line coaches instead of narrow gauge ones.
The Naughty Truck face. The aforementioned Naughty Truck has a fairly odd paper face on the prototype, but on the actual product he has a 3D molded face. Also, maybe there is a variant which doesn't have a back coupling according to these pictures, but it's not confirmed. Maybe they were just taken off.
2013 liberated Gordon. In 2012 to 2013, Mattel released 3 of the original 4 tender engines with separate tender and some other minor updates. However, Gordon was left out of the fleet. Probably he was cancelled because of the Trackmaster 2 takeover. There was a third-party version made without the extended roof and the separate tender. The actual one might have looked like this.
Millie and Marion. Much like Daisy, Millie and Marion were cancelled as well without any information about them. Probably Millie was also cancelled because of the Trackmaster 2 takeover, and Marion because they couldn't make a design with her shovel being in the way. Fortunately, Marion was made in Playrel.
R.C. Percy face. The Fisher-Price R.C. Percy has a smiling face, while the original Hit Toys has a tired face. This is interesting because all the other RC engines had the same or a fairly similar face to their older counterparts. Probably this was done due to budget cuts. Also, the Hit Toys prototype has the correct gold dome and whistle, but the product has inaccurate yellow ones. This was fixed later on the Mattel version.
The logging locos. The logging locos are an interesting topic in the Trackmaster range. The twins on the prototype are much more accurate than their production version, and they mostly resemble the Playrail versions. This lack of detailing was probably also done to save money. As for Ferdinand, the strange thing is that the muddy variation is more common than the regular.
Murdoch's nameplate. On the Tommy Motor Road and Rail version of Murdoch, his name was incorrectly misspelled with a K. This was later fixed on other versions. There was a similar problem with Bertram's prototype, where he had a U instead of an A, but this was more understandable since they probably took the Erdo version as an example to make the Trackmaster one. And the Erdo has the same problem as well, but Murdoch is unknown.
Banner Flip-Face Thomas. One time after the release of the normal Flip-Face Thomas, a variation came up with celebration banners on the side. It's unknown where it came from. It might have come with a special variation of the Thomas at Tidmouth set.
Spooky Stanley. An RC Spooky Stanley was intended to be released around 2011, but it was cancelled because his remote made scary screaming sounds which were too much for little kids. His regular Fisher-Price RC counterpart was cancelled too, but the reason is unknown.
Trackmaster Track on Take and Play Sets box. On the Take and Play Thomas's Shark Exhibit playset, there was a Trackmaster Track shown on the box and the promo picture. This was later changed when it was re-released in 2013. It's unknown why they used the Trackmaster track to describe it.
Set exclusive Thomas. The set exclusive Thomas is a variant of him released in 2010 by Mattel. It looks different in some ways than both of the mainline Thomases, but resembles the 2012 version more. It has a CGI face, a molded tail lamp, and it lacks the headlight. The doors and windows are only a painted mold. They aren't rounded and they lack the yellow pinstriping.
Thomas and Toad 4-pack. The Thomas and Toad 4-pack was a Motor Road and Rail 4-pack by Tomy, but it's unknown why Toad is in there. Also interesting that Toad was never released in pair with Oliver. His other releases were with Duck and Scruffy.
Jet Engine Thomas variant. There is a variant of the Surprise Thomas from the Jet Engine pack. One has pinstriping on the back, while the other only has a tail lamp.
The RC Molly Mystery. The RC Molly is a very peculiar item released by Hit Toys and Mattel. The reason why is that she is the only RC engine who wasn't a main character or a new character at the time of the release, and she is the only one who didn't come with any rolling stock. Also in the Mattel RC line, she is the most unpopular model. We forgot to mention at Stanley that also he was the only Hit Toys RC engine who didn't have the running board painted. Presumably this was because they were rushing the release of it, because that was in the end of the Hit Toys line.
Tomy equals Hit Toys. There are some theories that the Hit Toy company is a property of Takara Tomy. Since their models are nearly the same, and probably Hit Toys is the worldwide version of Tomy. The Hit Toys boxes also have the Tomy logo on them. The commercials also say Trackmaster made by Tomy.
The Hayloader. On the Farmer McCall's Hayloader box, Skarloey is on the pictures, but it's strange since Skarloey is a narrow gauge engine and McCall's farm is on Thomas's branch line, so Skarloey can't go there.
Hit Toys Oliver in the US. The Hit Toys Oliver is a mysterious item. No one talks about it nowadays. It's unknown if it was released in the US. If it would have been, then the Tomy ones would not be that overpriced.
The 3D Face Brown Scruffy. The normal Scruffy was released in both Tomy and Hit Toys. However, the refurbished brown version was only released by Tomy, so it didn't get a 3D face variant, unlike the original one. It's unknown if they plan to release one or not.
Oliver side rod support. The Tomy Oliver has a rare variant on which the side rod pins are metal instead of plastic, but it could be a modification as well since this is the only footage of it from a video by custom trackmasters, so it's not confirmed.
Hank combination. This one is more like an interesting mod where you can make a strong hang by combining the Mattel engine to the Hit Toys tender. Now both of them are powered and it's stronger.
Monty release. Everyone thought that Monty was only released in Poland. However, we found this Hungarian website where you can clearly see it's Monty here. Unfortunately, it's sold out, but you can check if you don't believe it. Website link is in the description.
The prototype Tomy engines. In this Japanese advertisement, the engines and crank here are the prototype versions, so these were produced. It's unknown where they are or what happened to them afterwards.
Boji's windows. On this variant of the Tomy Boji, he is incorrectly depicted with the vegetable bus windows instead of the normal ones. But the odd thing about this is that this Boji was released in 1999, so 4 years before the episode itself. Maybe the episode was intended to be in season 5 but was delayed? Who knows?
Murdoch Tender Buffer B. On this one picture, we can see a Murdoch Tender which lacks the buffer beam paint. It's unknown if it is a factory error or a variant since we didn't find any other pictures rather than this one. The same thing with display rail Dodge. Maybe it's also a variant, or it only has Diesel's chassis since we also didn't find anything else besides UC Blake's video.
Hit Toy Company headquarters. We found this picture of an instructions on the web where you can clearly see the Hit Toy Company's address. We searched it on the maps. It showed this big white building with a couple other buildings. It's in New York. Maybe this was the headquarters of the Hit Toy Company. What happened to it after it was discontinued? Was it sold to another company? So many questions.
And the biggest fact in motorized history. Tommy Oliver is not rare!
So this wraps up the Trackmaster iceberg. I hope you all enjoyed it. Special thanks to tons of Trackmasters, Muddy Poppins, UC Weapon, UC Blake and Custom Trackmasters since we got most of the information from them for this iceberg. Their channel links will be in the description.
This was Sir Granpuff the Grace, signing out. Peace.
See you all next time. Bye.